Hi friends, welcome to Tutors. This is the sixth part of my lecture on light reflection and refraction. So far we have been discussing about reflection. From this module onwards, let us focus on refraction of light. So before moving on to refraction of light at plane surface, I want you all to know what is refraction. I am going to introduce before you what is refraction. Refraction means the change in the path of light ray as it travels from one medium to another medium. This phenomenon is known as refraction of light. So let us now illustrate the passage of light as it travels from one medium to another, how the light ray is getting bent. So suppose a ray of light is traveling from a medium. Let me call this medium as medium 1 to another medium. Let me call this medium as medium 2. When a ray of light is traveling from medium 1 to medium 2, let us illustrate this situation. So this medium 1 and medium 2, we are calling it as two different media because they are having a boundary between them. So let this denote the boundary. And this boundary is known as the interface, separating the two media. This is interface. So suppose a ray of light is traveling from medium 1 to medium 2. Let us consider that this be the ray that is traveling from medium 1 to medium 2. Now let us draw a normal to the point of incidence. Normal at the point of incidence to the interface. We are drawing a perpendicular to the interface which creates a 90-degree angle. This is the normal to the interface at the point of incidence. Now at this point, the phenomenon of refraction takes place whereby the light ray gets bent. Either the bending can be towards the normal, this is situation 1, or else the bending can be away from the normal. Understood? Actually how it would have gone if refraction has not taken place? It should be like this, straight line. Now what has happened? A bending has taken place. So this bending is known as refraction of light. Refraction of light. So see here, I had told that bending can be of two types, either towards the normal or away from the normal. So how we can study about this bending is by introducing another term, that is optical density. Let us see what is optical density. So we know that what is normal density. What is normally density? Density is equal to mass by volume. But optical density is something different. Optical density is measured in terms of how a material is able to slow down light. If the material is slowing down light, if light is getting slowed down when it passes through the material, it is said to be optically denser. And if that material is such that when light passes through it, the speed of light gets increased, and the medium in which the speed of light is more is known as optically rarer medium. Optically rarer. Now in ray optics, now onwards, henceforth, we shall be simply calling optically denser medium as denser medium and optically rarer medium as rarer medium. Here in this chapter, density means optical density. That is how much a material is able to slow down light. If the material is having more optical density, then the speed of light will be less in that medium. And if it is optically rarer, then the speed will be more. So now, let this medium 1, here, the medium 1 is optically rarer and medium 2 is optically denser. When a ray of light is traveling from medium 1 to medium 2, here medium 1 is optically rarer and medium 2 is optically denser. So when a ray of light is traveling from a rarer medium to a denser medium, the speed of light gets reduced or lowered, because of which there is a bending towards the normal. So let us illustrate another situation where the ray of light is traveling from a denser medium to a rarer medium. See, this is a case 1 and case 2. Let us consider a medium 1 and a medium 2. Here let this medium 1 be optically denser and medium 2 be optically rarer. And the boundary separating the two media is known as the interface. Let us draw the normal to the interface after drawing the incident ray. This is the point of incidence and this is the normal. Now what happens is, if refraction has not taken place, then this ray of light should be propagating straight. But since refraction is taking place, this ray of light will be bending away from the normal in this way. Because here it is optically rarer medium and the speed of light is more in optically rarer medium, because of which the light ray bends away from the normal. This is actually the cause of refraction. What is causing refraction is that the speed of light will be different in different media. In a denser medium, the speed of light will be less, and in a rarer medium, the speed of light will be more. We can observe the light ray bending towards the normal and the light ray bending away from the normal. So these are the two illustrations. Now here we can introduce two angles as we had introduced in case of reflection. Here the angles are this angle. The angle between the incident ray and the normal is obviously angle I, or angle of incidence. Here this is the angle I. Now this is which ray? Refracted ray. And the angle between the normal and the refracted ray is notated as small letter r itself, but it is read as angle of refraction. Similarly, here what is the angle of refraction? This is the normal and this is the refracted ray, so this will be the angle of refraction. In this case, where a ray of light is propagating from a rarer medium to denser medium, angle I is greater as compared to angle R. Therefore, angle I greater than angle R. But when a ray of light propagates from a denser medium to a rarer medium, then angle R will be greater than angle I. Angle I less than angle R. These are the basic things that we need to know about refraction. I hope that refraction is clear for you. If it is not still clear, let me introduce some examples before you, and the refraction can be exemplified with all the examples. So let us move on to the examples one by one. So now let us discuss some of the everyday examples of refraction of light. Let us move on to that. Everyday examples of refraction of light. First example. Consider the first example. See, the figure has come on the screen. So the first example is the bottom of a pool or tank containing water appears to be raised when viewed from the top. So as you can see in the figure over here, what can you see? An object is placed at the bottom of the pool or the tank, and a ray of light is emanating from the object, is coming from the object, and at once it is incident on the interface between air and water. Here the two media are air and water. Water is optically denser medium and air is comparatively rarer medium. So when the ray of light is entering air from water, the ray of light gets bent away from the normal. So you can see here. So on extending this refracted ray backwards, it appears to meet at another point. See the height where the object is now lying. That is the apparent object. That the actual object is at the bottom of the tank or the pool containing water. So for the observer, for us, when we look from the top of the pond or the tank, we will see that the bottom is raised to a certain height. This phenomenon is due to refraction of light. First example. That is, bottom of a pool or a tank appears to be raised. So now let us consider the second example. See, when you are taking some printed matter, take some document or a file containing some printed matter, and on this let us place one glass slab. And when we look through the glass slab, the letters or the printed matter appears to be raised. the letters appear to be raised when we look through the glass slab. This is also due to refraction of light. Letters appears to be raised when viewed through the glass slab. Now let us see the third example. A simple experiment which you might have already experimented or experienced, that is, when a pencil is immersed in a glass containing water. A glass is filled with water and a pencil is partially immersed in it. Do you want a diagram? I see over here. See what you can observe. In a glass containing water, a pencil is partially immersed. See, the half of the pencil appears to be bent or broken. This is also due to refraction of light. The light coming from that part of the pencil which is under the water gets refracted. Because of this, for the observer, the pencil appears to be bent or broken. This is the third example, everyday example. Pencil immersed in water. Let us have the fourth example. Here we are taking a lemon and let us take one tumbler, glass tumbler filled with water. And when you immerse this lemon into the tumbler containing water, what happens? The lemon appears to be bigger in size. See on the screen. The lemon is immersed in a glass tumbler containing water and it appears bigger in size. All these are due to refraction of light. Now I hope that the concept of refraction is clear before you. And now let us discuss refraction at plane surface. Let us now discuss about refraction through a rectangular glass slab. I hope you all know what is a rectangular glass slab. See over here. This is a rectangular glass slab. You will be having to do this experiment in your physics laboratory in this year. So let us learn the theory part of that. Refraction through a rectangular glass slab. So the glass slab which you can see on the screen, this is a cuboidal shape actually. But for drawing the ray diagram, I have to make it simple. So let me draw the glass slab with just a rectangle. The top part only I am showing here. This is the glass slab. So this is the medium is glass. So let me denote this glass slab by A, B, C, D. The rectangle ABCD is the glass slab. Now we are making a ray of light enter the glass slab and let us see what happens to the emergent ray. See, a ray of light. Let us make it incident on the glass slab. Let this be the incident ray. This ray of light is incident on the glass slab. This is the point of incidence and here this is the interface. What is this media? I have not talked about that. This is air and this is glass. This is medium 1 and this is medium 2. Air and glass comparing, air is optically rarer as compared to glass. So let us mark the optically rarer medium and the optically denser medium. Now this ray of light is entering from the optically rarer medium to optically denser medium. So to the interface, let me draw a normal and this will be the angle of incidence. Now when the ray of light is entering a denser medium from a rarer medium, the ray of light bends towards the normal. Because of which, let me draw the refracted ray which has bent towards the normal. This is the angle of refraction. And now this ray will go and strike the other surface. Surface DC or CD. Now here also what happens? It has again striken the interface separating glass and air. Therefore refraction takes place. Let me draw one normal at the point of incidence to the interface. This angle will be same as this angle because the normals are parallel. These are alternate interior angles. Therefore this angle will be equal to this angle. Now what happens? Here refraction happens. Here what is happening? This ray of light is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium. Therefore, the ray of light gets refracted away from the normal. Refraction will be away from the normal. and this angle we are calling it as angle of emergence E, and this is the emergent ray. Now let us extend to the incident ray. The incident ray on extension will be parallel to the emergent ray. So why this is parallel? Because the refraction taking place at both the surfaces AB and CD are equal and opposite. This is the reason why incident ray is parallel to the emergent ray, and the angle of incidence, angle I, will be equal to the angle of emergence, angle R. This is an important property regarding refraction by glass slab. We have seen that the incident ray is parallel to the emergent ray, but there is a slight shift between the incident ray and the emergent ray. That is, the perpendicular distance between the emergent ray and the incident ray is this distance. Perpendicular distance between the incident ray and the emergent ray is known as lateral shift. An important term, lateral shift. Can be one more question. What is lateral shift? It is the perpendicular distance between the incident ray and the emergent ray. So this is about the refraction at a glass slab. So now we shall be discussing about the case where a ray of light is incident normally on the surface AB of a glass slab. See on the board the glass slab ABCD, and let me introduce a light ray which is perpendicular to the surface AB, perpendicular to the interface. This is air, rarer medium, and this is glass, denser medium. When it is perpendicular to the interface AB, then after refraction, the refracted ray will move perpendicularly. This along the normal, and is incident on the other interface DC. Now from here also refraction has to take place. The refracted ray will be passing normally. Hence, there is no change in the path of the light ray when a ray of light is incident normally on the refracting surface AB of the glass slab. This is an important case to remember. So now let us learn about laws of refraction.
Laws of refraction. In the case of reflection, we have learnt about two laws. Similarly, in the case of refraction also, we have two laws.
The first law is almost similar to the law of reflection. That is, what is that? The incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal to the interface at the point of incidence will be all lying in the same plane. Which are the lines that lie in the same plane? The incident ray, then the refracted ray, and the normal. Normal at the point of incidence, and this line will be normal to the interface. They all will lie in the same plane. This is the first law of refraction. Now let us see what is the second law of refraction. What was the second law in the case of reflection? The angle of incidence will be equal to the angle of reflection. But in the case of refraction, it is quite different. The angle of incidence is not equal to angle of refraction. It may be equal sometimes, but that is not the law. The law is the sine of angle of incidence divided by the sine of angle of refraction is a constant. This is the second law of refraction. So in the trigonometric ratios taken by one of our tutors, we have introduced the trigonometric ratio, and sine theta is one among the trigonometric ratio, sine value. What is sine? Sine theta is equal to opposite side divided by hypotenuse. This is sine theta, trigonometric ratio. And if you want more details about sine values, cos values, you may refer to the trigonometry class. So sine of angle of incidence divided by sine of angle of refraction. Both angle of incidence and angle of refraction are angles. Hence they will be having a sine value. The sine we are notating it as SIN. sine angle of I, sine I divided by sine of angle R, sine R. This is how we denote it, and is expressed as sine I divided by sine R is equal to constant. Instead of constant, we are notating or denoting the constant by the symbol mu, or you can use the symbol m. Both these corresponds to the constant, and this constant is known as the refractive index. The constant is known as refractive index, denoted by mu or m.